Oh, doesn't want to stay up today. All right. There we go. We got some peacock feathers in the back. On time today. Let's see here. Some peacock feathers in the background. And there we go. That's the best you're going to get. All right. Today, back again, Saturday. Shut this off, and I will be reading. Hello, J.E. Krieger. There we go. Better start it off right. J.E. Krieger, author of the books of 9 and 10 Penance. I'll be reading from that book again. That's one of my favorite stones. I don't know if you can. Hold on. There we go. That's one of my favorite stones found on the beach. Legally taken. I said legally. Here. Oh, we'll just move this. Okay, and I'm going to be reading the next chapter in this book. Hopefully you've been following along. This one's The Old Man and the Sea. And if I'm right, let me see if maybe I'm wrong. This chapter, unfortunately, well, let's see how that works. No? 10, 23. Well, I might read the whole thing then. I forgot. It's split in two. Yesterday, I read The One That Got Away, and that's one of my favorite chapters in the book. But The Old Man and the Sea is still a fun chapter. And I believe in the last chapter, hold on a second. In the last chapter, Stefan had fallen off a cliff, and the men on the island left him for dead. They just continued on, and they quickly surmised that their captain of the search party was dead. The captain they followed with all of their hearts was dead, and left him at the bottom of a cliff to die. So, he's about to wake up. All right, The Old Man and the Sea. Here we go. Just as Allison left the merman for dead at the bottom of the ocean. Oh, see, you should have watched the last chapter. Listen to the last chapter. Stefan was left thought for dead by the men on the island at the bottom of a very steep cliff. He was not dead, though, just and about to wake up from a rough night on the beach. After gazing out into the bluest of blue the ocean had to offer someone as lost as him, he wiped the sand off his shoulders and got up. There was a golden yellow trailing on for as far as the eye could see. This place appeared abandoned long ago, forgotten through time for good reason. The conchorn was lying on the ground at his feet. He picked it up, strapped it back around his left shoulder, then looked over the map. There were no markings indicating a path on the beach, but it may come in handy later on. So he rolled it up and stuck it inside the conchorn, just in case someone else might find it useful. With that single thought, he pressed on further down the beach, checking every piece of debris he stumbled upon. You never know, and he didn't know if Allison was waiting under a large object, or if a clue to her whereabouts was scattered along the shoreline. He had to keep searching, no matter how bad his head hurt or how fuzzy his memories were. After all, she could be on the beach somewhere hurt, or worse, confused and endlessly searching like he was in that dreadful place. After hours of painstakingly combing the beach, he happened upon the remains of his own reasons for ending up on the island and the lives that had been cast out to sea that fateful night. Eventually, he began scavenging through his own luggage and a life he once had, when he could remember it. Then he found something of interest. It was a picture of the two of them. He wondered who they were and if she belonged to one of the lost souls on the island. He wasn't sure, but it gave him comfort to know he'd finally found something that gave him hope. So he tucked it in his shirt pocket as a memory of what he was searching for. The beach was a lonely place, a place where memories and thoughts can easily get lost and wander for miles without hope of ever being found. He had many questions about the random things lying discarded, but there was one question in particular that seemed to linger. It was the thought on where all these empty bottles came from. He wondered if this is what held the key to the end of his troubles. He wondered if she was even on the island. After all, gone up and down every worn trail, searched every nook and cranny, and left literally no stone unturned, and still he came up empty-handed. Then he thought maybe no woman did exist on the island. Maybe what they all searched for had searched for them for so long they came up with the same conclusion. That is, that no man must exist on the island, so they must continue their search elsewhere. He rummaged through the debris until he found some paper and a pen. Then he sat down next to the empty bottles and decided to continue on, but in another way. While he was carefully thinking out each letter he would pen down and throw out to sea, a shellless crab sat down next to him. He ignored the crab at first and continued to fill up bottle after bottle. This tiny red beast gave him comfort once he realized no man with tales of their own to tell could soothe the pain felt in his heart. Then he thought of the crab and what it was searching for. He wondered what tales it could tell of the love it desired, if only it could speak. The crab just sat there, as if waiting for something to happen. So he wrote down some thoughts on how this lonely creature might feel about the love of its life, and carefully set those bottles down next to his in a separate pile. Because honestly, that's what you would do. You would pen down love letters for a crab. Anyways, Stefan wondered if the love he sought was sailing the open ocean on a ship of hope, waiting to be reunited where they left off in the life he was meant to live by her side. Knew he would never find out if he didn't attempt to throw bottle after bottle out into the sea. So he picked up his bottles of hope and walked out to greet the sea with confidence, not yet deterred by feelings of loneliness. The crab, once lifeless and plain, not uttering a single word on whether or not this quest was absurd, got up from its nap and followed after. Stefan kissed each bottle with a prayer of hope. Then he threw them out into the rolling waves. He even let the crab seal the glass on the bottle with its own promise made long ago, to keep searching until its days were numbered. After every bottle had been thrown, he continued searching through the luggage. In a sense, he felt like he was the captain of those who searched on the beach. He may very well have been the captain of those who no longer follow him still, but he certainly was no captain of the beach. That job was left to someone else who landed on the island long ago. Someone who chose a life as a nomad rather than forget their own name. Oh, hello, sir. Steve, the one who warned him not to go walking through that cursed field in the first place. He was watching over him this whole time, wondering what scheme he'd thought up in that addle-brained mind of his that led to the conclusion to throw bottle after bottle out into the sea. What Steve didn't realize is that Stefan was well aware of his presence. He saw the old man all right. He could have easily said something, but he felt he couldn't possibly understand what he was going through. He was probably searching too and hadn't found an answer yet, so what use would it be to stop and talk with someone who shared the same sorrows? Even if he did stop to talk to him, he'd only ask the same question he had on his mind, and neither one of them had an answer. So what use would it be? I'll just ignore him and continue on with this lonely crab by my side, who can't ask questions that are of no use to what I'm searching for. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll keep searching and rummaging through all this stuff scattered on the beach. I don't need no poor soul hanging around anyhow, just this crab, who would have probably given up hope today if I hadn't been there to carry him along and give him that hope. And if he doesn't get the hint soon, I will simply become an angry beast and chase him away. Yes, that's what I'll do. Well, maybe I'll wait and see. But if he doesn't come over here and at least make an attempt at having a possible lifelong friend, then I shall greet him like an angry beast and show him who the real captain is of the golden yellow sands that litter this place with a drifting ideology. Then again, maybe he's waiting on me to go over there and show him how a lifelong friend is supposed to greet one another. Yes, that's it. That's what I'll do. I'll just go over there and I'll show him how people act where I come from. He's probably not used to hospitality and simple folk like me. The least I could do is go over there, shake his hand, and introduce myself. Let him know what those types of people are really like. He's probably never even met someone like me, someone who doesn't know you yet, but treats you like a friend, because that's how you treat others, the way you'd like to be treated. It'd be a disservice to at least not let him know people like us still exist in this world, as miserable as it is. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll walk right over there, give him a peculiar look. Then I'll smile and show him what a true friend is supposed to act like, instead of lurking about like I'm afraid of what the other guy'll do. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what I'm like. You can't spend your whole life in fear of the other guy. He doesn't know that. Probably spent most of his life looking over his shoulder in a place where the other guy is always afraid of the other guy. If only places like that would come to realize that's how you make friends. What the hell is that? Here I am, not even making an effort on my part to show him he's got nothing feared from that other guy. Then again, if he walks over here, maybe I should just hit him over the head with that piece of driftwood, just to be sure he's not one of those crazy types. You know the ones that I mean. They're always lurking about, contemplating whether or not you mean them harm. Friend or foe, I better do away with him before he does away with me. If I don't, then my new friend, this lonely crab, might become his new friend. You probably would follow him instead of me, wouldn't you? After all, we just met, and as far as I know, the two of you already know each other. You've probably been plotting to do away with me since I fell off the cliffs. Yes, that's it. I knew it. I just didn't let on that I knew anything until now. You see, that's how you gotta be. Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. That's how you gotta act if you want to survive in life. You can't go around making friends with every loony that comes walking along. That's how you get into trouble. Friends, ha! They just slow you down. Take my advice. Hit the road, little guy, before I assume you're with him and decide to knock you over the head and boil you alive. You'll find out soon enough that's what happens to those who hang around his kind. In fact, let's get one thing straight. If you're with me, then I think you better hide out under a rock for a while, until I take care of your friend looming in the shadows over there. Fine, stay. Do whatever you want. I've finally had it with you. If you don't listen to reason, then you're next, pal, and I won't be as kind when I'm through with that old man. It's not my fault when it ends up happening to him, it's his. This is my little corner of the beach. I claimed it first, so I have my rights to defend it. Defends it by any means necessary. Ugh. Speaking of which, where did he go? I knew it. That dead stare, those clammy eyes. You didn't fool me for a second. You've been plotting this from the start. Well, I've got some news for you, buddy. I wasn't unconscious. I spent the whole night lying perfectly still, one eye open, watching over every move you made. Yeah, I sized you up. Yeah, and maybe I did think you were a friend for a while, but I wised up. To think I wasted precious bottles on you earlier when I could have thrown out a few extra for myself. Well, that's just who I am, you know. To be a friend to anyone who comes walking along seeking one. But I learned my lesson, and I won't soon forgets it. Stefan couldn't take it anymore. The loneliness one often acquires wandering a beach alone was finally getting to him. He raged, he crooned, he beat his chest like an angry beast that he proclaimed he would become. That's it, I've had it. Beat it before I boil you alive in a pot. Rawr, I'm a monster. Steve felt he should say something before the emptying of this place ate away at his ability to cope, taking him somewhere in his mind from whence there would be no return. So he walked up to him and extended his hand. Excuse me. It's just that I was standing over there and I noticed you were looking for something. I just thought maybe I could help you. You seem to be lost. Stefan growled in suspicion. No, I didn't see you standing over there, and I'm not lost. What would make you think that? My name's Steve. You can call me a friend if you like. You never know who is friend or foe these days. Simple folk, they call us. I wouldn't mind the company. It gets lonely on this beach. Steve, the old nomad of the beach, began walking away as he felt he wasn't wanted. Stefan was lonely, perhaps lonelier than the sea. He didn't want this person to just up and leave. After all, he needed someone right about now, and the crab was offering nothing in return. Wait, don't go. I could use a friend on this beach as well. This place does get lonely, so tell me, I know it's none of my business, but why were you yelling at that crab a moment ago? No, I wasn't yelling at it, and it's just that this crab has been following me all day, and I was getting kind of hungry. Why don't you pick up your friend there and come back to a little place I call home? You're both more than welcome to join me for supper. I don't have much, but enough to feed you and your friend so you don't have to eat him. It would be a shame to lose even one friend on this island. He's not really my friend, but if you insist, I promise we won't be any trouble. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Neither one of you look like trouble. Now follow me. Steve led the way to a small cove dug into the side of the rock cliffs. He lit up a fire of driftwood as the sun went down and made supper. After their bellies were full of things one would collect and eat on a lonely beach, the crab found a shell and wandered off. The comfort of a lonely old nomad seemed to suit him just fine. The two found that comfort as they talked of the love they once knew, when they were someplace that could be found. Well, at least Steve was able to remember what that was like, and that gave Stefan hope. Well, hello everybody that chimed in, Angela and your jigs. I'll keep reading. Stefan then pulled out the picture he found and showed it to Steve. He gave false memories of what it would be like if the girl in the picture was the one he was searching for. He proclaimed that if the love of his life could not be found, he might not give up hope, but perhaps settle down with the girl in this image. That is, if he happened to stumble upon her and the girl he couldn't remember withered away with time. Steve smiled. He knew Stefan's search would never truly be over if he settled for the girl in the picture. So he told him about a chance he once had to settle for a girl in a picture he didn't know much about. There was a woman I could have settled for instead of the one I truly love. This woman told tales of a life we could have led together, if I gave in to her vice. But the thought of the one I love, one I left behind in my heart, kept me on this beach after all those years spent alone. Maybe that's enough. Well, what if there was a chance? Maybe you should have taken it. Would you? No, but if time is all you have, I guess I don't have the answers. I'm surprised to hear you say you might one day give up hope for the first thing that comes swimming along. I almost made that mistake once, and it would have cost me my legs if someone else more daring than I didn't stop me. That is truly a band to admire, the one willing to walk away from the ultimate temptation. What do you mean, almost lost your legs? Stefan replied, confused. Maybe meeting you a few days ago reinvigorated that hope I once had. You shouldn't give up either, because you seem to give others hope where they felt they had lost it. What do you mean? I've never met you before. Steve had a good laugh over something Stefan couldn't possibly understand. Oh, maybe it's the salt in the air, or that it's getting late for an old man like me. I wouldn't worry about some of the things I say, Stefan. Who is this Stefan you keep talking about? Say, what's with that flower pinned to your shirt? I bet I can guess. You carry it with you because you haven't given up hope, nor do you ever plan on giving up. I pinned this flower through my shirt because it tried to bite me. If you feel tempted to stray because of that girl in the picture, then maybe, just a thought, think of the flower you have pinned through the hole in your shirt, and I think you'll be fine. You truly are wise, Steve, wiser than the ones I met yesterday. Who's that? The men with the long white beards. Longer than yours, I might add. Oh, I remember when their beards were a stubble. They may appear to be unwise, but I assure you, where their brains have gone soft, their hearts remain strong. And then, hold on. Trying to find where. Here it is. I'll leave you, and I'm just going to skip through this because it's a little long. Sorry. Long part of the book. You have to buy the book to, it's a subplot, sub-story that gets told, so. I'll leave you with a few words my father always said to me after he told me this story. The stars and moon in heavens above have always been and always will be, and yet as great and vast as they are, sometimes we just have to look up to truly know they are there. Well, it looks like you've fallen asleep and didn't get to hear the end of my story. I hope you do remember your name, Stefan, and to find the one you're looking for. Good night, sleep well, and may the stars shine brightly upon you another day. The end. So the next chapter is called Madness on the High Seas. I did cut that one short, sorry. But there was a sub story, and yeah, you guys don't need to hear that part. You can check out the book on Kindle if you want, but it goes on the tale of the Old North Star. It was a short story I wrote a long time ago, and I think it was like 3 or 4 pages put in there that kind of fit the narrative. But anyways, yeah, that was one of my favorite chapters in the book. I don't know, I love this. I love the stories in this book, and if you've heard me talk about it, it was a collection of short stories. So there's like 6 or 7 short stories that got meshed into this book, which, there we go, meshed into that book. Anyways, we definitely had a few people tune in today, and I'm grateful for that. I will return tomorrow, and we'll be back to an Allison chapter, and that one's fun, Madness on the High Seas. So that was kind of inspired. I don't even want to give that up. I'll talk about it tomorrow, but that one was pretty fun. Allison, yeah, as you can already guess, Madness on the High Seas. I'll leave it at that, but thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Oop.